And to complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. The Congress has finally ratified the Bicameral Conferences Committee's approval version of the 2019 proposed national budget. The Senate and the House of Representatives ratified the spending bill on the last session day before both chambers go on a break from February 9 to May 19. The bicameral panel earlier signed the report which reconciled the conflicting provisions of the 2019 budget. The committee also agreed not to adopt the cash-based budgeting system in the 2019 budget and revert to the obligations-based system. The approval of the budget had been delayed over criticisms on the shift to a cash-based appropriation scheme, as well as the questionable insertions that allegedly favored certain districts. Some lawmakers opposing the approval of the budget hope that President Rodrigo Duterte will veto some of the provisions of the national budget.
A valid source had a word in our ears that the 75 billion pesos had been earlier peddled to contractors across the country, region by region, at a 20% commission per project cost. That would be a sum of 15 billion pesos worth of taxpayers' money to the pockets of its proponents and cohorts.
Meanwhile, Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno emphatically denied the allegations that had attempted to bribe lawmakers to keep him silent on the 75 billion peso questionable insertions made in the proposed 2019 national budget. House Appropriations Committee Chairman Rolando Andaya Jr. claimed that Diokno dangled a 40 billion peso bribe to members of the House of Representatives in exchange for their silence on the issue. Diokno branded the lawmakers' accusations as baseless and just one of Andaya's wild allegations. Malacañang also asserted that members of President Rodrigo Duterte's cabinet do not engage in bribery. The palace also added that Diokno still enjoys the trust of the president, although they are not dismissing the allegations of Andaya, which the secretary still has to answer point by point.
We in the cabinet, certainly, and in the administration of President Duterte, we do not resort to things like bribing. So, mabigat yung mga akusasyon. I hope it can be addressed immediately.
The Manila Electric Company, or Meralco, is set to increase electricity rates by 50 centavos per kilowatt hour this month. The upward adjustment translates to an increase of 114 pesos in the total bill for households consuming 200 kilowatt hour, 171 pesos for those consuming 300 kilowatt hour, and 285 pesos for those using 500 kilowatt hour monthly. Meralco attributed the hike to higher generation charges.
Ang rates ng Meralco ay fair at reasonable. At tayo naman sinisikap natin na makuha yung pinaka-reasonabling rate, pinakamababang rates mula sa ating mga suppliers.
Meralco urged consumers to practice energy efficiency by unplugging appliances when not in use, as it expects higher consumption in the coming months. In other news, the Department of Health renews its call on parents to get their children vaccinated after the number of patients who died of measles at the San Lazaro Hospital in Manila reached 59. Since January 2019, more than 1,600 individuals have been confined in San Lazaro Hospital due to measles infection. Health officials have confirmed earlier this week that there is a measles outbreak in Metro Manila and other parts of Luzon, Visayas, and following the rise in the number of cases in the previous month. The growing number of measles cases has been attributed to a long-term decline in vaccination coverage. The DOH has intensified its campaign to encourage parents and their children to avail of the government's immunization program.
Ako po'y humihingi ako po'y nakikiusap sa ating po mga magulang na wag po natin kalimutan ang kahalagahan ng bakuna at ito po ay talagang sadyang napakamahalaga para po maprotektahan ang kalusugan ng inyo pong mga anak. Sayang naman po itong mga bakunang ito kung hindi po natin magagamit.
The Department of Transportation and the MRT management stand by their decision to ban liquid items inside the trains. Joanne Nano tells us why.
Various complaints from Metro Rail Transit or MRT commuters have surfaced online as the MRT management prohibits liquid items inside MRT stations and trains. The MRT management has tightened security measures after the recent Holosulu bombings in a blast in Zamboanga City. Earlier today, they also revealed that they received a bomb threat last January 3 through an email sent to the office of the MRT General Manager. This prompted them to strictly prohibit the entry of any liquid items inside the stations. However, a lot of MRT commuters got annoyed, saying that the train management may have just been overreacting with their strict security protocol. Security personnel in MRT stations have been confiscating all bottled water, juice, perfume, alcohol, and lotion.
Inconvenient yan dahil siyempre sasakay ka sa MRT, mauuhaw ka. Dapat pagbigyan na lang ng publiko dyan.
Kailangan dapat pwede i-allow nila na ipasok yung tubig kasi yung mga ibang matatanda kapag kunyari inaatake sila ng may sakit sila, kailangan nilang uminom ng tubig tas with gamot.
The Department of Transportation or DOTR for its part explained that they are only implementing stricter security measures for the safety of the thousands of MRT3 passengers. DOTR Assistant Secretary for Communications Goddess Hope Libiran pointed out that the Office of the Transportation Security has studied and recommended the said security protocol to assure that there will be no explosions in all railway stations.
Gusto talaga namin kasing protektahan yung kanilang safety and security. Kaya nga sinasabi namin, di bali nang maging OA sa higpit, kaya naman maging lax kami at malusutan kami ng isang terorista na kayang pumatay ng libo-libong tao.
The MRT management also argued that it is prohibiting liquid items since liquid bombs can be mixed in them. The management also explained that liquid bombs contain nitroglycerine, a clear and oily substance that cannot be easily determined when placed inside a bottle of perfume, lotion, or in other containers. Security expert Mike Lau Santos agrees.
Meron kasing mga liquid form of explosive na halos kamukha ng tubig at halos kamukha ng pabango. So minsan hindi natin ma-determine kung yan ba explosive or not. Kasi meron ng mga explosive, meron ng mga pampasabog na halos walang amoy. Minsan, kinukonsil nila yon as mineral water, kinukonsil nila yon as perfume.
The DOTR MRT management has issued a list of liquid items allowed in MRT stations and trains. It includes breast and formula milk, as well as water for passengers with babies and children. Liquid and gel medicines will also be allowed inside train stations, as well as water, juice, and any liquid intake for passengers with a medical condition. The DOTR adds that passengers can still claim their liquid items at help desk found in every MRT stations. Passengers just have to leave their IDs and contact numbers. Meanwhile, the Office of the Transportation Security is drafting the security protocol that will be imposed in all railways in the country. Joanne Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
And for the news abroad, here's Stephanie C. live from Hong Kong. Good evening, Stephanie.
Good evening, William. Embattled Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro launches a petition drive against U.S. interference as desperate residents urge him to allow trucks carrying aid shipments into the country. Eileen Sarudo tells us why.
Tensions are high in the Colombian border city of Cucuta on Thursday as the first U.S. aid trucks meant to cross the border into Venezuela arrived. Venezuelan security forces have blocked the 3-lane border crossing from Cucuta using 2 shipping containers and a fuel tanker. Armed Venezuelan soldiers stood guard at the customs building, pledging to turn back any attempt to cross the border. Venezuelans sheltering here from the crisis back in their country pleaded with embattled socialist President Nicolas Maduro to allow the trucks into the country, with some saying it is not a question of politics, but of human dignity.
I am not hoping for food or anything else for me. I want this aid to enter because people are dying. Mr. President, we are dying. Families are dying.
The largest city along the frontier, Cucuta has been a transit route for many of the 3 million Venezuelans who have fled in recent years. Thousands of people cross 4 pedestrian bridges that connect the city with Venezuela on daily entry passes to shop for food. Officials are still awaiting instructions on how to distribute the food and medicine. Meanwhile, Maduro on Thursday launched a petition drive against what he calls the United States interference in Venezuela. Maduro rallied supporters in a Caracas square, saying that the country hopes to attract 10 million signatures to hand over to the White House. The Venezuelan president did not provide details on the petition rollout or how it would be handed to the U.S. government. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV, News and Rescue.
John Dingell, the longest-serving congressman in U.S. history, has died aged 92. The Michigan Democrat was a driving force behind many key liberal laws, notably health programs. He was first elected in 1955, serving in the House of Representatives for the next 59 years. He retired in 2015. After leaving Congress, he closely followed all the twists and turns of U.S. politics, often deploying Twitter to express his position on major issues. Media monitoring group Reporters Sans Frontières has released a copy of files detailing the alleged 30-year crackdown of the Iranian government on journalists. Meanwhile, Sierra Leone declares a national emergency amid the rising cases of rape and sexual assault. Kath de Maraos tells us why.
In Iran, at least 860 journalists were arrested, imprisoned, or executed by the Iranian government in the 3 decades between the Islamic Revolution in 1979 and 2009, according to documents leaked to media monitoring group Reporters Sans Frontières. RSF said whistleblowers had passed on 1.7 million records detailing judicial proceedings against an array of citizens, including minorities, government opponents, and journalists. Christophe Deloy, the Secretary General of RSF, said they would be referring the file to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights in the hope that further steps could be taken to hold Iran to account. Representatives of the Iranian government were not immediately reachable for comment on Thursday, but last week Iranian authorities reiterated that there were no political prisoners being held in the country. In Sierra Leone, President Julius Maada Bio declared the prevalence of rape and sexual assault a national emergency on Thursday and said those convicted of sexual offenses against minors would face life in prison after months of campaigning by activists. According to police statistics, reported cases of sexual and gender-based violence nearly doubled last year to over 8,500, a third of which involved a minor. And in Thailand, the eldest sister of Thailand's King Maha Vajiralongkorn has joined the race to be the country's next prime minister. Princess Bolratana Mahidol broke the long-standing tradition of Thai royalty staying out of politics by entering the election in an unprecedented move. The princess, who relinquished her royal title in the 1970s, has registered for the Thai Raksa Chart Party. Thailand's election is scheduled to take place on 24th of March. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Stephanie C., live from Hong Kong. The UNTV underwater drone and the Diwata 2 showed that the government is still going to face challenges in rehabilitating the Manila Bay. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
2 weeks past the rehabilitation, the government's measures have been a success. Now the seawater's odor is less foul, the shore is cleaner, there are more seaside goers, and no one has been attempting to take a swim. But what can be seen on the surface is the contrary underwater. And this can be seen through the UNTV remotely operated underwater vehicle or underwater ROV. When the UNTV ROV was deployed into the seabed, it didn't show coral reefs, but a hill of garbage. Instead of schools of fish, various trash and plastics are swimming. What is clear water a few meters deep is dark and murky underneath. And these were all seen by the UNTV ROV. The same had been observed by the Diwata 2 satellite as shown in the pictures it took from outer space. The Philippine microsatellite Diokno 2 was created to monitor developments in agricultural lands, forests, and inland water, as well as to resolve environmental issues. Through Diokno 2's true color image, the areas surrounding the Manila Bay, the cities and provinces which contribute to the pollution in the sea can be seen.
Makikita natin itong Manila Bay at mapapansin ninyo dito sa mga coastal areas is meron mga parang kulay gatas na parang galing dito sa may Pasig River as well as galing dito sa mga Bulacan areas at Pampanga. Itong mga kulay gatas na to is ito yung mga nakikita nating mga water pollution dito sa Manila Bay.
After the photos underwent a technical process, the pollution level of the water was determined. Based on the Formacine-Nephelometric Unit or FNU, seawater must have 0 unit or a bluish color, while a 6.2 FNU or a yellow color to a 24.8 FNU or a reddish color translate to the level of pollution in the seawater.
Kung titingnan natin yung mga area na to, ito kulay pula na to is galing dito sa Pasig River. Habang dito naman sa areas na to ay galing naman sa mga aquaculture areas dito sa Bulacan at sa mga Pampanga.
One of the bodies of water connected to the Manila Bay is the Pasig River, through which water from various esteros in Metro Manila exits. And through those esteros, wastewater from residences and commercial establishments flows. Food, human, and animal waste that come from various areas in Metro Manila are the major causes of pollution in the Manila Bay. And aquatic and agricultural wastes are largely being contributed by the neighboring provinces of Bulacan and Pampanga.
Yung epekto ng overfeeding ay kapag hindi yon nakakain ng mga isda, so nag-overflow siya sa tubig natin at possibly tumataas yung mga contents doon ng ibang chemicals na hindi pag sumobra ay pwedeng makasira ng ecosystem or environment nandun.
The researcher added that at a greater scope, concerned national agencies and local governments must be more aggressive in cleaning and rehabilitating the esteros and rivers from which wastewater flows towards Manila Bay. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
A Spanish teenager who was born without a right forearm builds his own prosthetic limb using Lego bricks. He hopes to one day design and create affordable robotic limbs for people who need them. Beverly Saison tells us why.
David Aguilar has built himself a robotic prosthetic arm using Lego pieces after being born without a right forearm due to a rare genetic condition. Aguilar, 19, who studies bioengineering at the Universitat Internacional de Catalunya in Spain, is already using his fourth model of the colorful prosthetic, and his dream is to design affordable robotic limbs for those who need them. Once his favorite toys, the plastic bricks became the building material for Aguilar's first, still very rudimentary artificial arm at the age of 9, and each new version had more movement capability than the one before.
As a child, I was very nervous to be in front of other guys because I was different, but that didn't stop me believing in my dreams. I wanted to seeing myself in front of the mirror like I see other guys with 2 hands.
All the versions are on display in his room in the university residence on the outskirts of Barcelona. The latest models are marked MK followed by the number, a tribute to comic book superhero Iron Man and his MK armor suits. Aguilar, who uses Lego pieces provided by a friend, proudly displayed a red and yellow fully functional robotic arm built when he was 18, bending it in the elbow joint and flexing the grabber as the electric motor inside whirred. A presentation video on his YouTube channel that he runs under the nickname Han Solo says his aim is to show people that nothing is impossible and disability cannot stop them. After graduating from university, he wants to create affordable prosthetic solutions for people who need them.
I would try to give them a prosthetic, even if it's for free, to make them feel like a normal person, because what is normal, right? So,
Beverly Saison, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news, February 8, 2019. On behalf of Angelo, Castro III, I am William Thio. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening, everyone.